Let's begin with a universal truth, a feeling that every single one of us has encountered at various crossroads in our lives. That profound and unsettling sensation that life, in all its complexity, is spinning utterly out of our control. This feeling can manifest in a multitude of ways, perhaps through the devastating blow of a lost job, the heart-wrenching pain of a broken relationship, or even just the relentless, chaotic pace of our daily routines and responsibilities that seem to pile up without end. These moments, whether they are monumental catastrophes or the slow erosion of daily stress, possess a unique power to leave us feeling profoundly helpless, adrift, and completely overwhelmed by circumstances that appear larger than ourselves. But what if I were to tell you that there exists a powerful, time-tested pathway to not just passively survive these inevitable challenges, but to actively thrive amidst them? What if you could discover a method to not only withstand the storms of life, but to actually harness their energy for your own growth and betterment? Today, we're going to embark on a deep and transformative dive into the profound wisdom of Lucius Annaeus Seneca, an ancient Roman philosopher and statesman who truly mastered the art of cultivating and maintaining an unshakable inner peace, while living in a world that was every bit as tumultuous and unpredictable as our own. His extensive teachings on Stoicism are not merely abstract philosophical musings to be debated in ivory towers. They are, in fact, a set of intensely practical and actionable strategies that have powered history's greatest leaders, its most profound thinkers, and countless resilient individuals through the most trying ages of human history. And I am here to show you that these very same strategies hold immense empowering potential for every single one of us navigating the complexities of modern life today. By the time we reach the conclusion of this video, you will possess a robust and comprehensive toolkit of foundational Stoic principles, each one carefully designed to help you systematically cultivate genuine mental toughness and to reclaim sovereign control over your emotional landscape and your reactive patterns, no matter what unexpected obstacles or difficulties life decides to throw your way. I want you to stick with me through this exploration as we delve into how these ancient, almost secret truths can be directly and powerfully applied to the realities of our contemporary existence, ultimately guiding you toward a calmer, more centered, and profoundly purposeful way of being. If you appreciate the mission we are undertaking here and you wish to support this channel in its goal of disseminating practical wisdom, there is one very simple, completely free favor that I will ask from you. Please take a moment to hit that subscribe button. Your subscription provides us with the support and motivation we need to keep bringing high-quality, deep-dive content like this directly to you. Furthermore, I want to personally encourage you not to skip any part of this video. If you are here watching this now, you are decidedly not like the majority. You are someone who intrinsically sees the immense value in diving deep beneath the surface level of things. So, please, consider yourself an exception, an individual committed to genuine understanding. Let's begin. The imperative of focusing on a single activity. The profound wisdom of Seneca, who warned that to be everywhere is to be nowhere, captures a crucial philosophical principle that is overwhelmingly often overlooked in our modern, hyper-connected rush to constantly do more, achieve more, and be more in every conceivable aspect of our lives. The fundamental idea of focusing exclusively on one activity at a single time is absolutely central to the entire Stoic philosophy, and its consistent application has the demonstrated power to completely transform how we approach and execute our daily tasks and responsibilities. We live in a world that not only accepts but actively celebrates the modern myth of multitasking as a virtue. It is imperative that we pause this frantic activity and seriously reconsider the true effectiveness and the hidden costs of this scattered approach. When we attempt to split our attention across multiple complex tasks simultaneously, We are effectively spreading our cognitive resources paper thin, a practice that consistently leads to an increase in simple mistakes, a significant decrease in the overall quality of our work, and a pervasive sense of being busy yet profoundly unproductive. Marcus Aurelius, another immensely revered Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, echoed this exact sentiment with powerful clarity when he advised himself, and by extension, all of us, to concentrate every minute like a Roman, like a man, on doing what's in front of you with precise and genuine seriousness, tenderly, willingly, with justice, and on freeing yourself from all other distractions. This level of intense focus is not merely about improving superficial metrics of productivity. It is about diligently cultivating a specific quality of mind that values depth over breadth, mastery over mediocrity, and presence over perpetual distraction. Focusing with intention on one activity at a time allows us to immerse ourselves completely and fully in the task that is immediately at hand. Whether it is a critical professional assignment, a meaningful personal project, or even a deeply engaged conversation with a loved one. This kind of uninterrupted deep work fosters a far greater sense of genuine accomplishment and lasting satisfaction than any checklist of half-finished tasks ever could. The ancient philosopher Plato might even argue that this singular, devoted focus helps us to access a higher form of beauty and truth within our work, as it allows us to pour our very best effort into a creation, thereby making something that resonates deeply with the timeless ideals of goodness and excellence. Moreover, the psychological benefits that arise from focusing on one single task at a time are both significant and well documented. This practice directly reduces the exhausting cognitive load placed upon our brains, thereby minimizing our overall stress levels and dramatically enhancing our capabilities for clear and effective decision-making. Aristotle, who deeply valued the systematic development of virtues through habitual right action, would very likely support this practice wholeheartedly as a premier method for developing the crucial virtue of temperance, or self-control. This virtue directly helps us to regulate our innate desire for constant distraction and our craving for immediate gratification. In diligently practicing this focused approach to our work and our lives, we are not only following in the direct footsteps of the great Stoic philosophers, but we are also aligning ourselves perfectly with the teachings of modern cognitive psychology, which clearly suggests that our brains are simply not wired to handle multiple complex tasks simultaneously with any real degree of efficiency. The quality of both our output and our lived experience improves exponentially when we deliberately choose to give our full and undivided attention to one thing at a single time. Socrates' entire method of deep, relentless inquiry and dialogue, focusing with immense intensity on one singular subject to the absolute exclusion of all else, beautifully exemplifies just how powerful and transformative this method can truly be. To fully embrace this core Stoic principle does far more than just make us more productive. It makes us more thoughtful, more peaceful, and more balanced individuals. It is a conscious rejection of the chaos inherent in modern multitasking and a wholehearted embrace of a more deliberate, intentional, and purposeful mode of being. As we integrate this practice into our daily routines, we might find to our delight that not only do our external results improve, but so does our overall sense of well-being and inner tranquility. The practice of philosophy to control your impulses. Seneca's brilliant insight that all the greatest torments are the result of an undisciplined mind reveals a profound and enduring truth about human nature. Our unchecked, automatic impulses can very easily become the source of immense emotional turmoil and needless suffering. Stoicism, as a practical philosophy, places a major emphasis on the critical importance of self-control and rational thinking, and it provides us with a robust and reliable framework to directly address this fundamental human challenge. It is vital to understand that this process is not about suppressing our emotions, which is neither a healthy nor a sustainable goal. Rather, Stoicism teaches us to understand, manage, and wisely navigate our emotional landscape. The journey of managing our impulses effectively begins with the foundational practice of self-awareness. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus famously stated that no man is free who is not master of himself. This powerful statement highlights the absolute necessity of self-mastery as a prerequisite for achieving any form of true freedom and authentic happiness. By consciously becoming more aware of our impulsive reactions and the specific triggers that set them off, we equip ourselves with the ability to handle them with rationality and grace. This does not mean coldly denying our feelings. It means understanding them so deeply that we can choose responses that are in full alignment with our long-term goals and our deepest values. Within the broader realm of philosophy, Aristotle also spoke extensively about the importance of moderating our impulses through the deliberate development of virtues. He firmly believed that virtue lies in finding the perfect balance between excess and deficiency, a concept he famously termed the golden mean. For instance, the virtue of courage is correctly identified as the mean between the extreme of recklessness and the extreme of cowardice. Applying this Aristotelian framework to the practice of impulse control, we learn to seek a balanced middle ground between purely spontaneous, unthinking reactions and complete, passive inaction. We aim instead for thoughtful, deliberate responses that accurately reflect our best selves. Furthermore, practicing philosophy as a practical guide to controlling our impulses involves the diligent cultivation of rational thought as a daily habit. Marcus Aurelius, in his private meditations, often reflected on the paramount importance of aligning his thoughts with rational and virtuous principles. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This empowering perspective encourages us to focus our energy on our internal responses rather than on external provocations, thereby granting us greater control over our impulsive nature. By critically examining our impulses through the clarifying lens of philosophical wisdom, we can begin to make choices that are not dictated by fleeting, transient emotions, but are instead the result of careful thought, reflection, and principled decision-making. This consistent practice not only strengthens our mental fortitude, but also helps us to live more harmoniously with our stated values. It leads directly to a life where decisions are made not in the heat of the moment, but with a clear, composed, and virtuous mind. The Stoic approach to impulse control is, at its heart, about cultivating a rich and ongoing inner dialogue that constantly questions and assesses our instinctive reactions. It is about making philosophy not just an academic subject we study occasionally, but a living, breathing way of life, allowing us to rise above the lure of immediate gratifications and achieve a deeper, more enduring sense of satisfaction and purpose. This disciplined approach to managing our impulses is not merely about avoiding emotional pain. It is about forging a deliberate path toward a more thoughtful, fulfilling, and virtuous existence. The Stoic practice of staying prepared. Seneca, whose philosophy is deeply concerned with resilience, famously advised, "Rehearse them in your mind: exile, torture, war, shipwreck. All the terms of our human lot should be before our eyes." Now, I understand that this advice might sound rather dramatic or even morbid at first glance. After all, most of us are not actively navigating the high seas in fear of shipwreck or entering literal battlefields. However, what Seneca is fundamentally getting at here is the powerful concept of mental preparation for life's inevitable challenges, a cornerstone practice for building genuine Stoic resilience. Stoicism does not teach us to anticipate and mentally rehearse for the worst-case scenarios in order to fill our minds with dread and anxiety. Rather, We do this to diminish the shock, the pain, and the disorientation when difficulties do actually occur. This practice is known by its Latin term, premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. It is about vividly visualizing the most challenging potential scenarios, not to worry obsessively, but to become emotionally and mentally equipped and fortified for when life inevitably throws its curveballs. Think about it in this way. Elite athletes consistently practice under deliberately harsh and difficult conditions to prepare their bodies and minds for the extreme strain of actual competition. Similarly, by mentally rehearsing various challenging situations, we are effectively training our minds to handle real-world stress and adversity with significantly less panic and considerably more poise. This Stoic practice also has the added benefit of helping us to appreciate our current state of being. When we realistically realize how much worse things could actually be, our everyday problems often seem far less overwhelming and insurmountable. Applying this tenet of Stoicism does not mean living in a state of constant, low-grade anxiety about everything that could possibly go wrong. Rather, it is about maintaining a realistic and sober acknowledgement of potential negative outcomes without being paralyzed by them. For example, if you find yourself worrying about job security, instead of spiraling into fear and inaction, you could proactively start preparing by updating your resume, enhancing your skill set, or even exploring alternate career paths. This way, if the worst were to actually happen, you are not caught completely off guard, and you are in a much better position to handle the situation with competence and calm. Moreover, this principle of preparedness beautifully extends beyond just preparing for personal crises. It is about maintaining a general state of readiness for any significant changes in our lives, from financial instability to personal loss. By consciously staying prepared, we not only shield ourselves from the initial shock of negative events, but we also significantly quicken our recovery and adjustment periods. We become less reactive creatures of emotion and more responsive, thoughtful individuals, a subtle but incredibly powerful shift in how we handle life's inherent uncertainties. Seneca's wise counsel helps us to forge a resilient mindset where we are not easily overwhelmed by adversity, but are instead fortified against it. This mental readiness is not about pessimistically expecting the worst. It is about being fully prepared to deal effectively with any situation, thereby enhancing our overall resilience and mental toughness. Through this Stoic lens, we learn to see not just the potential for loss or hardship in every challenge, but also the simultaneous opportunity for growth, learning, and renewal. Voluntarily embracing hardships. Another profound insight from Seneca informs us that difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body. This idea is absolutely at the heart of Stoic practice, and it speaks to a concept that can seem counterintuitive at first: voluntarily embracing hardships. This involves deliberately choosing to experience discomfort and difficulty, not as a form of self-punishment, but as a dedicated way to fortify our mental resilience and expand our capacity to handle life's inevitable challenges with grace. To voluntarily embrace hardship is akin to an athlete who chooses to train under harsh and demanding conditions to prepare for the intensity of actual competition. That athlete understands that by willingly pushing their limits in a controlled environment, they are better prepared for the stresses and demands of the actual event. Similarly, by choosing to face difficulties head-on, whether that means taking on a challenging project at work, forcing ourselves to speak up in public, or even opting to live more simply and with less, we directly enhance our mental toughness and our adaptability. Seneca's approach teaches us that when we consciously step out of our comfort zones on purpose, we are not just testing our current limits, we are actively expanding them for the future. For example, if you genuinely dread public speaking, regularly putting yourself in situations where you must speak in front of others can, over time, transform your fear into a manageable skill. What once felt insurmountable gradually becomes manageable, and eventually it can even become comfortable. This Stoic practice is decidedly not about seeking out suffering for its own sake or engaging in masochism. It is about recognizing that genuine growth and character development often come directly from periods of discomfort and challenge. Embracing voluntary hardships also means proactively resetting our comfort thresholds. In a world that often prioritizes immediate comfort and ease above all else, choosing the harder path can seem radical. But Stoicism invites us to rethink what true comfort actually is. Is it merely the absence of discomfort? Or is it the presence of a deep inner strength and peace that comes from knowing with certainty that we can handle whatever comes our way? By thoughtfully integrating this Stoic principle into our lives, we also learn to appreciate our current circumstances more deeply. When we know from experience that we can endure less comfortable conditions, we can enjoy the simple pleasures of life with far greater contentment and gratitude. It is about building a life not on the shaky foundation of avoiding hardship at all costs, but on the solid bedrock of resilience and self-assurance. This doesn't mean we need to seek out needless suffering, but when hardship does arrive, as it inevitably will, we can choose to view it as an opportunity to practice our Stoic skills and to prove our resilience to ourselves. In embracing voluntary hardships, we foster a deep and unshakable sense of self-efficacy. We prove to ourselves through direct experience that we are capable of overcoming obstacles, which in turn builds authentic self-confidence. Each challenge we voluntarily face and subsequently overcome serves as a powerful reminder that we are stronger and more capable than we might have previously believed. So let's take a definitive page from Seneca's book and challenge ourselves to step courageously into the arena of voluntary hardship. It is within that arena that we will find not just challenges, but the very keys to a more resilient, fulfilling, and virtuous life. The critical importance of avoiding self-victimization. Seneca wisely pointed out that we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. This statement is a stark and powerful reminder that our interpretation of events, and not the events themselves, is very often the primary cause of our greatest suffering. It is dangerously easy to fall into the pervasive trap of believing that we are merely helpless victims of our circumstances, a mindset that leads us to feel that everything is happening to us rather than for us or with our active participation. Stoicism teaches us the immense importance of perception. How we choose to see and interpret life's challenges significantly impacts our entire experience of them. If we consistently view ourselves as passive victims of fate, we effectively surrender our agency and our personal power. However, if we can learn to view challenges as opportunities to grow, to learn, and to strengthen our character, we maintain control over our responses and are far more likely to approach life in a proactive and empowered manner. Consider a common modern scenario. Perhaps you didn't get a promotion you were working toward at work. The initial automatic reaction might be to feel sidelined, overlooked, or even discriminated against. While these feelings are entirely valid and human, Stoicism invites us to take a step back and examine our reactions more critically. Are we viewing the situation only through a narrow lens of personal loss and perceived unfairness? What if, instead, we consciously chose to see this event as an opportunity to seek constructive feedback, to improve our skills, or to reassess our career path to find an even better fit for our true aspirations and talents? Avoiding self-victimization does not mean ignoring real injustices or difficulties that we face. Rather, it means courageously shifting our focus from what is happening to us to how we are choosing to respond to what happens. This shift in perspective is incredibly powerful. It moves us from a place of passive reaction to a state of active participation in crafting our own lives. We stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" And we start asking, "What can I learn from this? How can I grow from this situation? What is this preparing me for?" Stoicism equips us with the practical tools to detach from our initial, often highly emotional responses and to see the bigger picture of our lives. It's about understanding that while we cannot always control external events, we always retain the power to control our perceptions, our judgments, and our reactions. This mental shift is profoundly freeing and empowering. It allows us to live with a greater sense of purpose and resilience, making us better equipped to handle future challenges with wisdom. Moreover, practicing this Stoic principle enriches our interactions with others. By refusing to cast ourselves as the perpetual victims in our life story, we naturally foster healthier, more mature relationships characterized by mutual respect and understanding, rather than blame and resentment. We become more compassionate toward others, as we recognize that just as we are responsible for our own happiness and responses, so too are others responsible for theirs. In wholeheartedly embracing the Stoic way, we liberate ourselves from the invisible chains of self-victimization. We take full charge of our personal narrative, acknowledging that we are the primary architects of our perceived reality. This empowerment is the very essence of Stoicism, and it is the key to building a truly fulfilling, proactive, and virtuous life. So let us collectively choose to rise above victimhood, not by denying our pain, but by reframing our stories with strength, wisdom, and unwavering resilience. The value of spending time in solitude. Seneca's advice to retire into yourself as much as possible emphasizes the immense value of solitude within Stoic philosophy. This guidance is not an encouragement toward total isolation or misanthropy. Rather, it is an invitation to engage regularly in deep self-reflection and introspection. In our fast-paced, hyper-interconnected world, the constant noise of everyday life can easily drown out our inner voice and severely hinder our ability to reflect on our personal growth, our values, and our direction. Stoicism teaches us that true solitude is a rich state of self-awareness and contemplative peace, not merely a physical state of being alone. The benefits of spending quality time in solitude are profound and have been echoed by philosophers across history. Marcus Aurelius, another great Stoic philosopher, often wrote about the importance of introspection in his private writings. He believed that understanding oneself was absolutely essential to living a life of virtue and purpose. He stated, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." This highlights the beautiful idea that solitude provides a sacred internal sanctuary where one can temporarily escape the endless demands of the external world and focus exclusively on internal development and clarity. Furthermore, the consistent practice of solitude allows us the space to explore our thoughts and emotions without external distraction. It gives us the opportunity to process our experiences thoroughly and to ensure that our actions are in alignment with our deepest principles. By regularly engaging in this practice, we cultivate a much deeper understanding of who we are and what we truly want from our lives. This alignment is crucial for living authentically and achieving a sense of personal fulfillment that is not dependent on external validation. Aristotle also touched on the importance of self-reflection for achieving eudaimonia, or human flourishing. He believed that self-knowledge was the essential foundation for developing virtues and for living a life that is in accordance with reason and purpose. In solitude, we can assess our lives with critical honesty and make the necessary adjustments to ensure we are living in a way that reflects our true values and aspirations. The Stoic practice of solitude also actively encourages us to develop resilience. Epictetus emphasized the need for personal reflection to fortify the mind against adversity. He advised individuals to use solitude as a primary tool to strengthen their character and mental endurance, thereby preparing them for the inevitable challenges of life. He put it positively, "It is in your power to withdraw yourself whenever you desire. Perfect tranquility within consists in the good ordering of the mind, the realm of your own." Moreover, spending time alone helps us to appreciate our relationships and social interactions more fully when we do engage in them. When we return from periods of solitude, we often find that we have more patience, empathy, and clarity to offer others. This not only enriches our personal relationships, but also enhances our positive contributions to our wider communities. The Stoic practice of seeking solitude is not about escaping life, it is about deepening our engagement with it. By periodically retiring into ourselves, we gain the clarity and strength needed to act more thoughtfully, virtuously, and effectively in the world. Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, and Epictetus collectively provide us with a timeless roadmap for using solitude not as a retreat from life, but as a tool to live more fully, meaningfully, and purposefully. Conclusion: integrating Stoicism into modern life. As we wrap up today's extensive discussion, it becomes abundantly clear that the teachings of Stoicism are not merely abstract theories confined to ancient texts. They offer a vibrant set of practical strategies that can be directly and effectively applied to the demands of our daily lives, empowering us to lead more thoughtful, resilient, and purposeful existences. Stoicism teaches us the immense value of focused attention, the transformative power of self-control, the strategic importance of preparedness, the inner strength that is found in voluntarily embracing hardships, the liberation that comes from avoiding the trap of self-victimization, and the profound clarity that regular solitude can bring. Each of these principles challenges us to turn our gaze inward, to refine our characters continuously, and to confront our lives with both unflinching honesty and profound courage. It is crucial to remember that Stoicism does not promise a life free of difficulty or pain. Rather, it offers us the practical tools to deal with life's inevitable challenges more effectively and with greater virtue. It encourages us to see every obstacle as an opportunity to practice a specific virtue, and every hardship as a chance to test and thereby strengthen our resilience. By consciously applying these Stoic practices, we are not just surviving our lives, we are actively thriving within them, cultivating a sustainable sense of peace and fulfillment from within ourselves. In the true spirit of Stoicism, let us all continue to explore how we can apply these ancient wisdoms to navigate the complexities of modern life with grace. Let us strive each day to be better than we were the day before, to live with clear intention and unwavering virtue. If you are interested in continuing this journey of practical philosophy, I highly encourage you to check out one of the videos currently on your screen. They are specifically designed to help you dive even deeper into the practical applications of Stoicism in your everyday life. Thank you for spending your valuable time with us here. We are deeply grateful for your curiosity and your eagerness to grow alongside us on this path. Remember, the path to wisdom is long and often challenging, but every single step you take is a definitive step toward a more meaningful, virtuous, and fulfilling life. So keep walking bravely. Don't forget to subscribe. Stay stoic.